Hello, folks. That's right. We are back again. I know you missed us. I don't know if you can tell, but got a little dressed up for this episode. A hint of what the show might be about. But first, let me introduce myself. I am the Let me introduce myself. I am the incredible Jeff Galashaw. At least that's what I call myself. I don't know if anybody else calls me that. And with me, as always, is my co-host, Andre Joseph.
Hello, Andre Joseph, AJ Epics Productions.
But wait, hark, we might actually have a special guest this week for this episode. What could this episode be?
Guys.
Hey.
Yes, we have a co-host this week. We have Billy Boom.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. It's so good to see you guys again.
Great to see you.
Good to
Nice
see
to
you,
see
Andre.
you.
Hi, Andre. You can hear my excitement.
Yes, indeed.
And well, this is Billy Boom, who, if you're a longtime Cinephiles fan, you might remember as frequent caller into the live show to make fun of my beard. So this week we are talking about a recent movie, Why I Am Dressed This Week, for a movie me and Andre have always charted the development of this movie ever since it was announced, when it was rumored to when it was definitely a go. That's right, folks. We're talking. I don't know what's up with me this week. We're talking about Coming to America, the latest Eddie Murphy Arsenio Hall joint. The long that was supposed to be the big holiday movie of 2020 that is now the event movie of 2021. So Coming to America picks up with Prince Akeem, I think 20 years later, in Zamunda, and unfortunately his father is on his way out and he needs an heir, and of course, according to the patriarchy, there can't be a woman ruler. So, and since his daughter refuses to marry the Warring Lands son, who I don't know, was just kind of wimpy-ish. So it's a big shock when he finds out he sired a child in America from a one-night stand he doesn't remember. And,
From Leslie Jones at
and hence he goes, exactly. And he finds out that he has an heir. And then he brings his son over to Africa. And, culture clash comedy, reverse this time. Okay, so since I'm hosting and we have a special guest, we'll ask the special guest, Billy Boom, what did you think of the movie overall?
Overall, I thought it was a feel-good movie. Did I love it? No, I didn't love it, but I really liked it because it brought back so many memories. I'm so glad they incorporated part one into the movie. Most of the original cast was there. Everything felt good, but I think it could have been better.
Agreed.
Yeah, but I do love I like the movie. I don't want to say I love it, but I wish it wasn't PG-13. I wish I heard those old school raw jokes that they all gave in part one. So they made it like family friendly. So it was good for a family friendly movie, but it wasn't that old school original Coming to America part one that I was hoping for. But it was a feel good movie. So out of 5 stars, I would give it a 3.
Okay. Well, I thought you were gonna say 3 out of 10. And so that's
No, 3 out of 5. Yeah. The songs, the outfits, what I was really confused about is why did they cast Eddie Murphy's for him to be the son out of all the celebrities that was casted? I was really shocked that they casted him for the role. Or was it the only thing?
I have a little trivia about that, by the way. So one of the reasons this movie got made was because Coming to America, it's one of those Eddie Murphy movies that still holds up to this day. When you compare it with Beverly Hills Cop, 48 Hours, that's the one everybody references because it was the first time he was playing multiple characters, and it's a love story, so that was something different for him. And so there'd never been talks of a sequel up until the last 5 or 6 years. And it was Ryan Coogler, of all people, Black Panther himself, who approached him about possibly doing a sequel with the idea of Michael B. Jordan playing the son, and son having to go back to America to find a wife. But Eddie was like, well, then it's just about him. It's not about me. So he passed him up, but said, hey, it sounds like a good idea. Maybe I should re-explore it. And then that's how we got this movie.
Oh, how interesting. Wow.
Well, the original plan, for some reason, Eddie Murphy wanted Tracy Morgan originally to play his son.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah,
Really?
Yes, because the irony would have been Tracy Morgan pretty much looks older than Eddie Murphy in this movie.
He was serious about that? Tracy Morgan?
Yes, because, Eddie Murphy likes Tracy Morgan.
Yeah, I like him too, but not for his son.
No.
Well, see, okay, this is, before I get into my overall review, that was one of the problems I had, was like Tracy Morgan in this movie just seems to be there. Like he doesn't really do anything. He has some lines, but it looks like he just came from like his apartment across the street in his own home wardrobe. Adam Sandler.
Cool uncle. I did think he was a cool uncle. He was funny. He was a cool uncle. He had his punchlines. I loved his role. I do love his role.
You just love that wardrobe. No, I ain't gonna lie. That's gonna be me in about 20 years in lounging.
With the suit?
Yes, hey, I think I'd look good in one. Viewers, feel free to chime in. Andre, what did you think overall about the movie before we get into like particular little points?
Well, my expectations were kind of level when I first heard it was going to be PG-13, and then when Amazon picked it up, I was hoping maybe they might go R because there's no restriction, and then they still went PG-13. That said, I gotta say, I'm with Billy Boom. I liked it. I didn't love the movie.
Right.
I thought that there were nostalgia is nice to have, but I think there was some maybe too much repeating of the jokes. I was hoping maybe Eddie would have a surprise new character to play. Instead, they give it to Arsenio, and it's like, him kind of doing all his greatest hits, like when he did his Saturday Night Live host a while back. And I don't know, I didn't like Jermaine Fowler as the son. There was just something about him that he fit, but something about him I didn't like gravitate to.
Maybe it was the script didn't really give him much to do, and
I think he had the script. He just didn't fit the role.
Yeah, just something about it that didn't quite work. The thing I did like, though, that I will push back about when it comes to critics, a lot of critics that felt like this was just the first movie all over again, and I wouldn't say that because it's the reverse in terms of the whole movie being an I'm mixing up Wakanda and Zamunda these days. It's really fucked up. But, like most of it's in Zamunda. So it's like basically he's trying to prove himself to him that he can carry the throne versus him trying to find a wife. The only thing that's similar is that twist with the hairdresser. And that kind of like makes it feel like it's the first movie again. But other than that, it was trying to do something different. And then the addition of Wesley Snipes, I think him and Leslie Jones were like maybe the best things to come out of this film.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Do you guys agree? Wesley Snipes was funnier than Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
Was it just me?
No,
He was
I agree.
hilarious. From the first scene to the last, I thought he was magnificent in this movie. Better, I looked at him more and was laughing more at Wesley Snipes than Eddie Murphy.
I mean,
I agree. I'm not arguing with you on that point.
That was weird.
The Akeem character was always kind of a square, straight character, even in the original. It was always like the other characters that Eddie played that were given the bigger laughs in the movie.
That's true. Yeah.
But here, I mean, Eddie's still having to be that guy. He's actually more like James Earl Jones this time with the
Yes,
fact
it's
that
more laid back than before.
yeah, he's like big on tradition, and he's kind of forgotten the kind of guy he was in the first movie, which they do play up. But Wesley, every time he's on screen, it's like people forget this guy did comedies. He wasn't just an action star.
Yeah, yeah.
And he totally sells every moment in this film.
Sure did. He sure did. Yeah.
But I will say Leslie Jones had the single funniest moment in the movie, which I'm not going to spoil, but it is involved in the one night stand flashback with the fake technology.
Yeah.
What did you think of that? Because I have some thoughts on that technique.
Here's the sad part. The deep fake technology was more impressive than the makeup effects in this movie.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah,
So,
they needed Rick Baker badly because you could tell that makeup looked way too cheap.
but do you think it was the makeup or the lighting that was bad, or a combination of both? And
I'd say a combination of both.
Yeah.
You know, it's a new age. They probably shot it digitally. So like I'm looking at him like when he's playing the Jewish guy in the barber shop. It doesn't look the same as when he did it the first time, and you were fooled into thinking that was him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
the
this time
audience
it
knows.
it looks like
there's something
latex,
tacky about the way it looks in the way it was shot.
and it's darker. And
Yeah.
okay, let me give you my quick overall because you guys keep discussing all my damn notes. I so far have agreed with you. I am not as mean to Jermaine Fowler, but with this movie, overall, I agree with Eileen for the most part. It's a feel-good movie, but it does rely a little too much on nostalgia and a greatest hits package throughout the movie. Like, hey, remember this? Here you go. And I just found it weird. We can find cameos for super minor characters, but like we can't find the Queen's sister to come back. We can't find my man Daryl Soul Glow, but we can bring Louis Anderson back. Like I wasn't really like, did he ever make manager McDowell's?
Maybe he was available for the the time slot and the role. Maybe others wasn't available.
I'm like, well, I'm not gonna insult Louis Anderson, so I'm gonna be nice.
His little 2 minutes, I thought he was funny.
Well, my thing, Samuel L. Jackson, he's in every other movie. He couldn't make a cameo.
He should have
I'm so
definitely
glad
made
you
a
brought up
cameo.
Sam because I was just hoping he just even did 30 seconds. I was just like, for him to come back and rob the place again, that would have been epic.
Yeah.
And what about
back? And I wonder why they didn't bring Sam the Man back.
or hey, we all know Cuba Gooding Jr. is free. Exactly. I guess we can go into spoilers because hello, if you're watching this and you haven't watched it, why are you watching it?
Yeah, well, it's free if you have Amazon.
Exactly. Now, as for the rating, I agree with you because my thing is I could understand if this was going to theaters, you want to make it PG-13, more of a broader audience. But if it's on Amazon, anybody can watch it anyway. So might as well like, hey, let's reshoot some scenes since we have time. And, make it like not even a hard R, just maybe a little R. You ain't got to show, the nudity, but, put some F-bombs in there. And
I know, I was waiting for that, but, it's PG-13, so.
And one joke I know it's supposed to be stupid in this movie, but you're telling me this chick is still hopping on one leg and barking after like 20 years? He never can stop.
But that was pretty hilarious, though.
Yeah, it was funny, but it was just like, this is so stupid.
But I'll also say too, without the R rating, it was cool how they got around the bathing scene. The whole twist with Leslie Jones was pretty damn funny.
Why did
Leslie
Jones in a bathtub when she was I don't know if I can say it, when he came out the water?
When he came out
I was really,
you can say it.
Okay, I didn't know how far I can
This
go.
isn't a kid show.
When he was cleaning her off, okay, I was like, wow, that felt awkward, but it was funny.
Well, same thing with that flashback. She's like, this is PG-13?
I know. I was like, wait a minute.
I'm like, first of all, Tracy Morgan and Leslie Jones and PG-13, this just don't feel right.
Yeah. Leslie Jones? Oh, man. It would have been so good if it was R. I'm telling
and she was used better here than in Ghostbusters. Let's be honest.
Oh, definitely. They actually gave her something to do. Other than play stereo.
Her getting the Sherry Headley drunk at the party, that was awesome.
That was awesome. That really was. I loved it. She loses.
But we have to talk. Oh no, go ahead. No, we have to talk about
man.
Queen. Now it's obvious this movie is more based on the popularity of like The Lion King and Black Panther because it has like this African pride, warriors. I mean, come on, the final battle scene, that's obviously Black Panther inspired. You know, it's bad enough, you know, we're supposed to believe Arsenio can still fight. So, you know, like,
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Was the jokes as funny as it was in part one in the barbershop?
No.
I was waiting for that. I'm like, yeah, barbershop is about to go down. The jokes is about to hit. And it was so.
Yeah, because they talk more about political correctness and what you can and what you can't say.
Yeah.
And it was like, while I enjoyed seeing the characters brung back, like the preacher, I don't know why they had to be like the sexual deviant preacher. It was like, he was a sexual deviant before?
Yeah,
but I mean, exactly. And by the end, you know, it pretty much spells out its message with the final song by the glorious Randy Watson and Sexual Chocolate. But I'm like, and Eddie's like, okay, well, it's going to take another 16 years if we're going to make a 3. I'm just like, I'm good. I mean, I like the movie overall. It's good to watch. It's like a family come together film. I'm not gonna badmouth it, you know.
I don't think nobody.
I mean, it just was
a good movie, but is it?
It just didn't live up to
America Part 1 over and over and over and over again.
And if you have Comedy Central, you can.
Yeah, can we do that to Coming to America Part 2? Can we watch it over and over and over again? That's how you know if a movie's a classic hit, a great movie, when you just repeat. Can we repeat Coming to America Part 2?
I don't know. You might have to have a few cocktails and then be like, but then you might still be like, this is whack. This ain't as good as part 1. But I mean, I liked it. I mean, but again, I don't know. Maybe if it had been maybe a different director also, maybe. Or is it the script?
John Landis just for the hell of it? He's not. He's just like doing tours.
He's not gonna work with John Landis ever again. Ever.
See, this
if you hear the stories of just that
in the movie, what would you have switched up besides
what?
PG? What would you guys have changed drastically in the movie?
I have one thing I'll say right now because I thought it was a missed opportunity. The Colin Jost reference to Trading Places and the Dukes. I thought they could have gotten somebody better. I'm sorry. Like I know he's the news anchor guy on Saturday Night Live. You could have gotten a better actor to be the grandson of the Dukes. And this also gets me to another thing. If we're doing the universe building stuff, it would have been cool to see Dan Aykroyd and Jamie Lee Curtis in it, just to play their characters from Trading Places again. Like they became like some world leaders on an island that they went to at the end of Trading Places, and they show up at the party. That would have been pretty damn awesome.
Yeah. That would have blown me away if I saw that.
I'd be like,
my jaw would have.
I'd be like, that would have been nice, but Eddie had to call Salt and Pepper and invoke to show up instead.
He got Morgan Freeman.
How did they get Morgan Freeman?
I was like, that is bad for him.
Yeah, he's on everything.
I'm like, well, he's free. But did we have to kill off James Earl Jones?
Well, the funny thing was he shot all his scenes in New York. Like they spliced his stuff into the movie. He never worked with any of the actors.
Wow.
They digitized him into all those scenes.
Oh, that's interesting.
So he didn't have to see Arsenio in that bad Hakuna Matata makeup.
I love how Arsenio Hall was getting spit on so much. Oh. That was hilarious.
Here's one of my main points that I want to make about behind the scenes on this movie. Hold on, I wrote it down. I'm getting older, I can't remember everything. So I wrote that it's nice to know that Zamunda, the rich African city land kingdom, can be found at Rick Ross's house in Tyler Perry's studio. So now the new American Black Mecca, You've heard of Harlem, New York, South Central and Compton in California, and even Oakland and San Francisco. Now, not only Hotlanta, but you got to go to Rick Ross's property and Rick Ross and Tyler Perry Studios. That is our new American Mecca.
That's interesting. But I heard Rick Ross has the biggest house in Atlanta.
Exactly. And that's why they borrowed it from him. That's why he gets that one scene cameo. And
I would have let them borrow my crazy ass small apartment if I had a role.
Well, yeah, you and Michael Bax. I guess my thing was like, I was just glad because I remember before this movie came out, there were those fake posters on Instagram that was going to be like, Coming to America 2 starring Kevin Hart and Michael Blackson. And I'm like, thank God that didn't happen.
That would have been good.
That might have been
better than this one.
I don't think so. I think if Kevin Hart, this is the only time I might say this, if Kevin Hart, even though I have no problem with Jermaine Fowler, but maybe if Kevin Hart would have had that role, he would have done more with it.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Because maybe the whole thing is Jermaine Fowler is, I don't know if he's a comedian or an actor, but he took the role more as an actor, where I feel like a comedian would have maybe done more with it. You know, look for all those like hot spots where they could, you know, take their character, put some one-liners, like tweak everything. And, you know, again, I have no problem with Jermaine Fowler. I'm a fan of his from other stuff, but, you know, just as friendly casting suggestion, that could have been changed. Because realistically, what I would have loved, jeez, I hope you never run into Jermaine Fowler on the street.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just didn't, you know.
He's like, I'm struggling, girl.
Chose the wrong person.
Well, I would have liked, here's my idea, like how Andre had his Trading Places universe building. Eddie's got enough pull. I would have liked to just see all the black stand-up comedians who are famous, who like worship at the altar of Eddie Murphy, somehow have a cameo throughout this movie in different scenes. Like have a Chris Rock over here, then you could have like Dave Chappelle over here. Just so, like, if anything, it's like, you got to see this movie. You're never going to see all of them together in a movie again. Yeah. Sort of like what Chris Rock tried to do with Top 5. And, you know, and then it would have been like, even if the movie's not that great, when are you going to see all these comedians together? Like when Eddie Murphy hosted SNL and they all showed up on stage. You know, I'm like, and, you know, I agree with the Colin Jost thing. But again, that's that SNL connection. So I can't touch that. And,
so what was your favorite scene and what was your the worst scene that you thought of the movie?
You go first since you're the guest.
Yeah.
Or do you need more time?
Yeah, I'll go last. I need to think about it. I have a lot of those.
Okay, Andre, best and worst scene?
I think the one that made me laugh out loud was the circumcision scene.
That part, yeah.
Okay.
The worst for me was the Duke's reference.
Oh,
that fell flat for me.
Worst? Okay. And okay, so since Billy Boom is going last, the best scene I keep talking about is the Leslie Jones flashback scene. To me, that's the most hilarious scene. Though I could also say Wesley Snipes' introduction, his like musical entrance with the dancing.
Yeah.
The worst. Jeez, this is hard. Surprisingly. It's a throwaway joke, but when I guess Prince Hakeem is trying to run to the church, and then he tries to hail a cab, and the guy is like, "Oh, you have to use Uber," and it's just like,
oh, okay,
it just falls flat.
Like, that was going to be Jake.
I know it should have been. That's what I was expecting, and then it was just like this.
The guy from WandaVision.
Yeah, it's just like, so I'll say that is my best and worst.
Also, another part that kind of fell flat for me was the woman, West Side's daughter, that they were trying to set up with Jermaine Fowler. When they repeated the bit with, you know, I'll do whatever you want, blah, blah, blah. Like when they repeated that joke, I was like, come on, you could have done something a little different here. And he made her wait. She wouldn't move for like a whole hour.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah. Well, I will say, though, Tiana Taylor, very enticing as the other woman.
Yeah. She played her role. She played her role well. My
Okay,
worst
Billy.
scene was the barbershop. That's the worst scene. I expected more. I expected, I just expected more better jokes. I didn't laugh at one joke, and I was like, damn, this was it was the part I was waiting for, the barbershop, or the men. So that was the worst. It was a letdown. My favorite scene would be, damn, I just had it in my head. What was it? Oh, when Eddie Murphy kept introducing his daughters, my bastard son, this is your bastard brother. This is your bastard brother. I got it. The bastard brother. That had me laughing for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something, I liked Eddie Murphy's daughter, the middle daughter, more so than the older one. Because I liked her deadpan expressions all throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean his real daughter in real life?
His real daughter. Not the one that takes over at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, Kiki Lee. Yeah. Or Lupita Nyong'o Jr. Well, but see, watching this movie, it just reminded me of Eddie Murphy's recent stint on SNL. It was like watching him just go through old characters, but not as funny as at the time. So it's more like, oh, best of. And still, he wasn't the funniest thing in the movie. He was more like laid back in the background. And, so, but like I said, I enjoyed the movie. Like other than, the detractors, though, I really wish it could have been more of a musical. So we have more Wesley Snipes scenes, and less cameos. Or if you're going to have cameos, have them make sense. Like the big cameo at the end with the two twin girls.
I love that.
That was cool.
How could I not have mentioned that?
That was cute, but it wasn't neat.
Nobody expected it. That's the funny part.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because that was just a lead up to my man Randy Watson, really. And now, Andre, you were going to say something about the deep fake special effects.
Yeah, so I thought that whole scene. So it looked great on Arsenio Hall. Like you could believe that was him from back in the day. Yeah. But when it came to Eddie, there's some shots where it looks pretty good, like they, like seen from the side, and it looks like old school Eddie Murphy. But then when you get too close up, it starts looking like a mush. Like you slap this makeup on him, and he looks terrible. Yeah, so that's where it kind of lost me. It's like, can you get the Disney folks to come in and improve this?
Yeah.
Who the hell did your effects for this movie?
So obviously the effects guy and Jermaine Fowler are going to be looking for you two as much as you keep bad mouthing them. But overall, Boom gave 3 out of 5 stars. How many stars would you give it, Andre?
Out of 10, out of 5?
Whichever way you prefer.
I go 2.5. It wasn't bad, but not something I would go back and watch over and over unless I'm bored.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't buy the Blu-ray?
No, probably not. I would buy the Golden Child Blu-ray before I buy this.
If somebody gave it to me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, of course, I take it for free.
Yeah.
For free, yeah. Why not?
Right. Who's not taking stuff for free? Unless it's like Norbit.
Hey, that was a good movie.
Okay, if you say so. I'm glad you liked it in Balls of Fury. I would give this movie out of 5 stars. I'm going with Andre. I'm gonna give it 2.5, 2.75, maybe if it had been rated R. But I'm gonna go with just.
We're all on the same. Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow.
Yes, we like dirty Eddie Murphy. We don't like family friendly Eddie Murphy is the. But rated R. How can Orbit be rated R but not Coming to America?
Is Eddie Murphy losing it?
He's been home. Like he's just chilling, and then he comes out of his hole, and he's like the Family Guy.
That's what it is. I think he's he's a family guy now. He's not raunchy and raw like he used to be. Oh, I miss
that. Leads to the next question I have for you guys, which is, does this make you excited for Beverly Hills Cop 4?
No, I'm afraid that it's gonna. Because I love Beverly Hills, but I'm afraid now it's not going to be as good. I'm gonna watch it.
Look,
I'm gonna hope it's gonna
of
be great, but
course.
I don't think how Eddie Murphy is now. I don't want to say he lost his touch. I know he still has it in him, but I guess he got older and he's more of a family guy. Maybe he wants a broader audience, and it's a big change I see in him in his work.
I think Eddie Murphy hasn't lost it. I still think he's one of the funniest people in the world, especially if you listen to him in interviews. But I think maybe I couldn't tell you how to answer. I know he wants to do stand-up once COVID is over, and he wants to return to that. But I mean, I've been liking his more recent moves like Dolomite. Yeah. This movie, while not great, at least he's trying something.
It's better than what he's put out in the last 10 years.
Exactly. This is way better than, let's say, Imagine That or 1,000 Words. Yeah. Dave, Norbit. Yes, that's my whipping boy. Nutty Professor Part 2. But I want to see him do more original comedy, less family friendly, maybe a little more like raunchy, or at least a little more like hard R. But something where he has.
Let's get that old Eddie Murphy back. Come on.
Something where he has to put in an effort. And I want something where he actually puts in an effort, because when he puts in an effort, that's when he impresses. When he's more laid back, it's like everything suffers. So I say more 48 hours. Except this time with an original story instead of trying to repeat the first movie.
Yeah, but have you seen Nick Nolte lately? I don't know.
Hey, did you see? I'm trying to say, you saw Tracy Morgan in this movie. So, if we got to drag Nick Nolte to the finish line, hey, that could be a plot. Nick Nolte's in a retirement home, and Reggie.
I would love to see that. I love his Reggie side.
It'll be like Nick Nolte. No, I'm all taken out. And then Reggie's like, no, we got to get this $1 million. You owe me, Jack. You owe me. Something like that.
And what? Lamar Odom plays Reggie Hammond's kid?
Oh, wow. Wouldn't be bad. Obviously, you guys don't want Jermaine Fowler to play him. So, guys, we are running out of time. So, this is for our special guest. Thank you, Billy Boom, for being here.
I'm so honored. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. It was so
this was great.
Maybe we'll have you back, viewers. We're waiting for your comments. So, is there anything you want to plug, Billy Boom, before we end our time together?
I just want to say thank you for having me. It was great to be here. And if you want to see more of me, you can go to Facebook, Billy Boom, or Instagram, Billy Boom, Snapchat, Billy Boom Inc., Twitter, Billy Boom. Just Google me. I'm there on the Billy Boom.
What was that name again?
Billy Boom. BILLIEBOOM.
Okay, did everybody get that? Andre, anything you'd like to plug?
Well, as always, you can follow me at HAEPYX at Instagram, on Twitter. Follow up the updates on my films at HAEPIXProductions.com. And just still plugging away.
Okay, and everybody, y'all better know where you can find me if you're watching this. Come on. So since I'm invincible and incredible, I don't have to say anything. But I do have to ask. Hold on, I got to go through my notes. I forgot what I was going to say. The Alzheimer's and all. Okay, have you seen the movie Stand and Deliver? If not, why not? Because it's fucking awesome. Yep. Billy Boom, what movie would you like to recommend to the folks out there?
Please go on Netflix right now or tonight, especially at night, because it's a horror series on Netflix. It's called Kingdom. It's a great horror series. It's so great. Great plot, great twist, great casting. Perfect. If you want to be scared and you want to continue on with the story, please watch Kingdom.
And Andre, what movie do you want to recommend for the fine folks out there?
Have you seen the movie Peppermint? If not, why not? Because it's fucking awesome.
Okay, and that is it for this week, folks. Go see Coming to America. You might be mildly surprised. You might be disappointed, but give it a chance.
Give it a chance.
Black movies.
On forever.
Wakanda forever.
And we will see you guys next time because our business is always unfinished.
Bye, guys.